Thank you so much for making time for this conversation today. I know I've been really impressed and inspired by everything I've heard. I hope everyone listening feels the same and that everyone chooses to participate in the election process. You're hearing a lot of people talk about how important democracy is, and certainly that includes, participating in organizations like ONA that help guide the future of what our business is going to look like. For those less familiar with broadcast ONO groups, ABC Disney owns 8 stations around the country in some of the largest markets. So hello to my friends in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, Houston, Raleigh, and Fresno. I would receive a lot of grief if I didn't give the shout outs. Across the country, we reach 23% of households. But what that really means is that we have a direct connection with local communities around the country and work tirelessly to serve those audiences with news and information about the places they live. Working across these markets, in addition to currently living in South Carolina, has given me really interesting insight into what journalism looks like around the country and how it's received by audiences in different parts of the country. My role leading content operations has really been an evolution of my past experiences. I started as an assignment desk intern in San Francisco. I helped create our first ever digital national desk for our own station group. I also helped launch new brands, including Localish, which focuses on highlighting uplifting stories from local communities designed for national audiences. And most recently, I've been working closely with our newly established race and culture and premium content teams to elevate diverse and inclusive stories in new formats for new platforms. I like to say that I live at the intersection of content, strategy, and technology. I work with our editorial teams daily on news coverage, from wildfires to hurricanes and elections, our strategy teams on how to reach new audiences and how to grow our business through new distribution relationships, and our technology teams on new internal systems to better serve our journalists and content teams, as well as new platforms and experiences for our audiences. I work with interns and senior leadership, and I believe deeply in helping grow new journalists and storytellers. And because of that, I always value participating in both informal and formal mentoring programs within our station group, as well as within Disney more widely. I've helped create educational programs for both new and seasoned journalists within our organization. I regularly lead internal trainings on content verification and misinformation, as well as I partner with local universities like USC in Los Angeles to develop curriculum and new projects for our teams. I'm running for a board seat because I am deeply passionate, as so many people are that are participating today, about what we do as journalists, both in our responsibility to serve our communities and how we go about doing that. I know process is not always the most thrilling topic, but it's something I care a lot about as an operations person. And I think the almost 2 years now have really shown us how important how we do journalism really is. I want to share what I've learned from working in a legacy broadcast organization that has had to transition to multi-platform content distribution. And I want to learn from others. And I want to, most importantly, create space where we can have open, candid conversations about what we're getting right and what we're all still struggling with. I think right now, newsroom culture and burnout are 2 of the most pressing issues in our industry, and I think they're very much related. On a recent episode of the Digiday podcast, I think it was Vox editor-in-chief Lindsay Wagner said that journalism can only be as good as our newsroom culture. And I think that's a really important statement. I think we're all trying to figure out what this means for our individual organizations, who we hire, what we cover, how we discuss story ideas internally, and who gets to participate in those discussions, and then how we go about reporting and sharing that reporting with audiences. In addition, I think we also need to be thinking about how we're supporting our teams, making sure that they're heard in editorial conversations, but also how they feel about the work they're doing. Journalism can be emotionally and mentally taxing, and I think we need to make sure that we're doing more to create inclusive support structures for our teams as they're going out and doing such important work. ONA has led some great conversations on this, but there's more work to be done. And I think myself and the entire group here today are in a unique place to help lead those conversations. So thank you again to everyone. I hope you've learned a little bit more about me and my thoughts on our industry, but more importantly, I hope that you continue to play an active role in ONA in leading the future of our industry.